Hey, my name is Michael Raso, and you're listening to the Film Photography Podcast. Yeah. It's... yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Michael's having a moment.
We got nothing but time.
Got nothing but time. We got nothing but time. Time. Where does it go? Time. People waiting. Like, right, Matt? People waiting for the...
It's all in the past now.
I'm here with Leslie Lazenby.
Hello, everyone.
Mark O'Brien.
Hey there.
Superstar Mark Dalzell. Hey, man, you're losing your audience. When new episode's coming out, Big Think.
Great big, really huge think. I don't know. I get the call and I go.
But I saw you in the toga. Is that aired?
Toga, that was a good one.
That aired already.
Yeah, that one's already.
Have you seen that?
I have seen it.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the Target Florio.
Yes, I have.
And Matt Marrash.
Oh, hey, guys.
Do you know, you were missing those episodes. Do you know about him being in the big...
Yeah, I know about the Big Think. I haven't seen the Toga one, though.
What's it called? Big Idea?
Great big story.
Great Big
Oh, Great Big Story. Have you seen...
Very famous.
The Toga one is nothing.
Okay. Now, they're producing these all the time. What's up with your producer? Is he... give him a new assignment, or...
Well, he's got many stories he works on. He's constantly traveling the world. My mic's not even up. I'm number 4.
There you go. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark D.
Hey, how's it going? Why was my mic even down?
Hey, Mark O'Brien.
Oh,
Let's start
hey
again.
there, everybody.
Start again.
Okay, I'll start again.
God.
Hey, my name is Michael Raso, and you're listening to the Film Photography Podcast. Yeah. It's... yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Michael's having a
Take your
moment.
time. We got nothing but time.
Got nothing but time.
Time is a tool you can put on the wall. Wear it on your wrist. The past is far behind us. The future doesn't exist.
Right, Matt? People waiting for the...
It's all in the past now.
I'm here with Leslie Lazenby.
Hello, everyone.
Mark O'Brien.
Hey there.
Superstar Mark Dalzell. And Matt Marrash.
Oh, hey, guys.
Going so fast like a merry-go-round.
Hey! Welcome back to the show. You know what I love about this show? Being with you guys. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the people at home.
Great. You and the people at home to do the show.
Oh my God. Leslie's mic's down too.
Why were they all down? That's what I'm saying. Just start the whole show again.
Okay. Hey, my name is Michael Raso, and you're listening to the Film Photography Podcast. Yeah. It's... yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Michael's having a
Take your
moment.
time. We got nothing but time.
Got nothing but time.
What the hell?
We got nothing but time. Time. Where does it go? Time. People waiting. Like, right, Matt? People waiting for the...
It's all in the past now.
I'm here with Leslie Lazenby.
Hello, everyone.
Mark O'Brien.
Hey there.
Superstar Mark Dalzell. And Matt Marrash.
Oh, hey, guys.
This is a DIY show.
Yeah, I see that.
And I'm experiencing
Clearly.
it.
Off the air, Matt.
Done.
See you later.
Canceled.
Arrivederci.
We have a lot of exciting film photography topics to discuss today.
You're going to introduce us?
I was going to say,
Oh.
do you want to
Yeah, well,
reintroduce
no, we did that
since
already.
everybody was down, the mics were down?
No one,
Their mics are down.
Hey, my name is Michael Raso. Matt, you writing term paper?
Oh, sorry, no. Somebody just posted a shitload of 8x10 film at a really good price, and I'm buying it all.
Oh my God!
Get the fuck out! No, it's 8x10 T-Max at $40 at $4 a sheet. I'm buying all of it.
Oh.
Michael, you have my full attention.
Leslie Lazenby is here.
Hello, everyone.
Mark O'Brien.
Hey there.
Mark Dalzell.
Hello.
Matt Marrash.
Got the film sweats.
And my name is Michael Raso. Let's open up with a letter. Not like you're for deli. So when we do our drive time shows, I give...
Whoa.
I hand a letter to John just to pass to Mark. And then John holds on to it. And then he starts complaining. Like, oh, I need it. I'm like, it's not for you.
I need to rehearse.
Yeah, he needs to rehearse. I'm like, just read it. Well, can you just read it? Can you read it, Mark?
Yeah, let me just go through it a couple times first.
Okay.
There's some bigger words in here. No. Hi, Michael. Thanks for the info. I guess you sent him some info. I'll drop these with Mark when I get the chance. I guess someone's dropping something with me when they get the chance. By the way, love the show. What show? And the store. You guys got me back into developing my own black and white negs again.
Yes.
And I recently taught my 16-year-old son the process.
Yes.
He's, quote, borrowed my Pentax K1000 and is learning how to shoot, quote, real photos. Keep up the great work and give the FPP gang my warm regards, Fred.
Terrific.
Back at you, Fred.
Fred
Terrific.
Stelling, I guess.
Terrific.
Thanks, Fred.
I do get emails from people.
Like, hey, can I drop off stuff for the donation program?
Mark D has a storefront in Jersey City called Metropolis Music. And you could just get on in there and just walk into an actual storefront and hand it to a person.
Sure.
So in our first segment, we're going to be talking about something that comes up occasionally on the web. I'm looking at Matt, even though they're called zines.
Oh yeah, those are they're pretty hot.
Popular.
And zines were always popular in rock culture and things like that for these limited production things that,
and of course, back
by
in
fans,
the
fanzines.
60s and 70s and 80s, there were cut and paste rock punk magazines.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't call them zines at that
Yeah,
point.
they did.
Yeah, they were
Did they
fanzines.
really?
Yeah.
That's what they called them,
Okay.
fanzines. So
Take it away, Mark O.
So many years ago, I'm still here. I wasn't doing zines, but I was editor of various newsletters, and back in the day when we actually pasted everything up and did camera ready copy, to then it became stuff you did on the computer and just printed out in your laser printer and all that. So I'm familiar with how to produce things and make a magazine or a brochure and all that.
Did someone mail that to us?
Yes.
So that just came in.
It just came in. Yeah.
So that's part of the topic as well. Nice.
That
Yeah.
was in the stack of letters.
Oh,
you
very
gave me,
nice.
So I opened
So-
it and
So over the past few years, I've seen a few photographic zines come up occasionally, and I've purchased a few. One of the things we talk about in photography is a tangible product and how it differs from the digital onslaught of everything being online and on your phone and so forth. And if you're a photographer, it's nice to have a tangible object to give to people and say, this is the kind of stuff I do. So zines, because they tend to be smaller, let's say, than a book or a monograph, they're usually, I won't say they're of lower quality, because today we have all these really nice production facilities that we don't have to invest in. A company can print it out for us. It can be really pretty well done, and with all the materials that are available to us and outlets of now, whether it's Blurb or any number of places that will do these things. Or you can do it yourself. You've got a color laser copier or whatever. You can do all these things on your own. What it does show, it also shows there's a lot of talented people out there with good photographers. They can tell good stories. And yet we no longer have the kinds of photographic channels where that stuff becomes available to the general populace. Let's say if you can't even keep a popular photography magazine going because of the internet and the price of advertisement and all that, you're not going to have a general forum for photographers. So people have to do self-publishing. And you can do it various ways. You can do, like I said again, with Blurb, or you can go through other third-party places, or you can do it yourself and do the production. And zines instead of being a large monograph, zines can be short. They're less than 30 pages or so. And they can be very specialized. They can be really amazingly well done. I brought a few various zines today with me, and then of course a few just came in. I'll talk about the first one. It's not so much a zine; it's a large magazine.
Oh,
it's called She Shoots Film.
Oh, that was
excellent. Women photographers. It's everything shot on film, and a lot of this has been underwritten by Blue Moon Camera. They've got up at their store, they've got some of these things on exhibit. She Shoots Film is just a fantastic magazine. The text, images are really professionally done. I mean, it's wonderful. It reminds me of an issue of Aperture magazine, actually, and its quality of production. This issue was volume number 2. It's about mother, and so it's whether the photographer is a mother, the mother's photographer, all the issues that have to do with motherhood and being a photographer. It's really a fantastic piece of work, and I look forward to buying more of these. And you can find them online available. And I forget where I bought this one. I guess I must have. Oh, I know. I think Mike Padua had it in his store and was selling some. So I got it from him. I'll pass this around. It's about the size of an Aperture magazine. So I would call that a high-end zine of a sort. And then another one I recently purchased is from a photographer. His first name's Eric. I don't know his last name.
Did this person mail this to FPP?
No, this is one I bought.
Oh.
The other ones were mailed to FPP, and I'll talk about those.
Okay, very good.
This guy's on Instagram and Flickr, Conspiracy of Cartographers. This zine was only $9, which I found amazing. He sells it on his Etsy store. And he shot all these in 4x5 on a trip to the Midwest and Southwest of the United States. Eric's from the Pacific Northwest. It's on really nice stock. The photos are all in black and white, and it's white text on a black background. And he tells you what film he used, and where the images were taken. There's stuff shot in here in Arista Ortho, litho film, Kodak Royal Pan. Some of these were, and he specializes in using expired film stocks and unusual things. Although some are FP4 Plus and so forth. What I like about the Conspiracy of Photographers is the July issue. He visits places that are on the surface don't look remarkable. Some of them are remarkable with the photographs, but you would wonder, why would you stop here and photograph this valley or whatever? It turns out some of these places are sites of Indian massacres, or Indians that were massacred by white settlers or U.S. troops or whatever back in the day, and the history of these areas. And it's really, sometimes it's rather somber, but it's a very thoughtful piece of work. I have to say, if you had a gallery show for something like this, it might not be a great venue because people don't necessarily want to stop and read everything. But when you can hold something like this in your hand and read it, and sit down and digest what he's talking about and look at the images, it really is a much more profound experience in my view. So I'll pass this around. What I liked about it is the size. It's only about 6 by 8 inches, something like that, and 6 by 9 inches. But it's really well done, and it was like $9, and it's a pretty small price. And he says he purposely wants to price this thing so people will buy them.
This is $9-10?
What's that?
$9-10?
$9.
He's all over Instagram. Whenever I post a picture on Instagram, he is usually one of the very first people to like all of my pictures.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And what's that gentleman's name?
It's on the cover there. Conspiracy of Cartographers.
And his first name is Eric. And so while today we're going through things in the FPP, we received a couple other zines in the mail. This one is from Zach Storer, from Mike Raso and FPP Gang, The Land and City by Zach Storer. And I haven't even looked at this yet, but I'm open and I'm leafing through it. It's color photographs. It looks like
live.
It looks like opening up live. And nothing is captioned, which I find a little unsettling because I'd like to know where things are. On the other hand, the images themselves are gorgeous. But
I like that there's no writing.
But I do like to see some captions and tell me a little bit about the images themselves. It says, FPP Gang, this book wouldn't exist without you guys. Your podcast and rare, fun, and affordable films kept me going so much of the time. It's only right I send you guys a copy of this long overdue book. Thanks for all the laughs, advice, and fun. Zach. Zach's store. Instagram is UPS_syndrome.
I'll tell you, this Instagram, do you enjoy the Instagram?
Oh, I do. I put a lot of stuff up there. I don't put as much of my film images up there as some people do because I have to go. If I could do it from my computer, I'd be happy. I could really pile stuff up there. But on my phone, I have to go into Flickr, copy it from Flickr to Instagram, and post it. And it's a kind of a pain in the butt.
What? This is Zach. Oh, I do follow. What's Zach's Instagram? UPS_syndrome. So it's really, I love the images. You know, it's like a travelogue kind of thing. But I also would like to know a little bit more about some captioning, or at least have an addendum in the back on what pages things are on, and tell me a little bit about the stuff. But I do like it. It's really well done. And then another zine we got just arrived today, a new zine from Chris Smith Photography in Minneapolis. His website is www.darkroomdream.com. And this one is called The Enchanted Hunter, 2018, Chris Smith. And I see it's a bunch of interesting images with models and deer antlers. And What's this
some
one called?
nudity in here. And
What?
What's this one called?
The Enchanted Hunter.
And that one is also?
Yes.
Okay.
And the beauty of zines is that you can present your work in a format that is easily accessible by people. They're not. It shouldn't be a huge cash outlay for a copy of a zine, and you can make them any damn topic you want in photography or arena. You're going to. It's one way of getting your work out there for people to look at. It's not that it's a physical, tangible object. My advice is, if you want to curate your work and go through some topics and bring them together in a cohesive way, a zine is a really good way of forcing you to say, I've got maybe 20 images I want to put together and add some text and so forth and formatting, and you've got a zine, and there you go. People can decide if they like your work or not.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Really like the zine format. There's what you've kind of shown here, though, is the range that
Yes.
zines kind of make up. They kind of go everywhere from like collated Xeroxes all the way up to something that's really like better than a magazine presented.
Yeah.
And it's a medium that is still very much being explored because you can have lighter editionings, different kind of boutique printings. You can have a
Right.
handmade aspect
Yep.
to it. So some folks are also having zines be like the feeler for a small set of work, but then they'll also put in an original piece with it.
Right.
There's so much you can do with it, and I think zines are definitely going to be the way to go outside of these really heavily sponsored. I mean, the days of the major photo magazines are very much kind of done. If you open up one of those general camera enthusiast magazines, there's 60% advertising.
Right.
Even on the main pages, the main articles, those are even all sponsored now. So this is kind of either a complete removal of that commercial aspect or a very, very modest use of it.
I think the other thing is it's a direct connection between you and the viewers.
Yeah.
There's black and white photography, there are other things, but you are competing with so many people to get your work out there. They're only going to choose what they find that will be saleable. If you're doing your own zine, you have to edit yourself. But as a bit of advice, though, to people, the photographer is not often the best curator of their work. Sometimes you need someone else to look over stuff and say, these images fit together well, these don't. And maybe you should not include those. So I think that if you have some people that you like to work with, you can have a collaborative effort for a zine. It doesn't have to be one person. It may improve the product quite a bit. But in general, my feeling is, hey, if you've got stuff to show the world, a zine is a good way to do it. And whether you do it in the handmade method or you go through another third party online to produce it, like, I guess Shutterfly could do a zine if you wanted it to, but I wouldn't suggest it. There are other avenues for that. You can find them online with a quick Google search.
A lot of those have the zine printer in the back on the back page.
Oh,
too.
yeah, they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Give it a whirl. And certainly, there are zines available online. Look, and it's a way to find out what photographers are doing and seeing what's out there, and maybe get inspiration for doing work of your own and produce your own zine.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
When we come back, we're going to be talking to
Leslie, about?
Roll the dice. Leslie!
About?
Light piping.
Ooh, hot topic. We'll
Yeah.
be back.
This morning, for less than £22, this man bought a movie camera, the incredible new Kodak Instamatic. This afternoon, he is an expert. What fun it is. They're delighted with the ease of its loading. She takes out a film cartridge, puts in another. It could hardly be simpler. He presses a button and shoots. This is his reward. And so is this. This summer, it could easily be yours.
Hey, we're back. I received many emails, which I almost immediately passed right along to Leslie Lazenby.
No, I'll take it from there.
Okay, great. About, ...
I said this is almost a Doctor's In segment, because here's what we get. Hey, got some unexplained fogging or edge exposure on my film. Mike, got some of that special film you sell? Some of it's bad. You have a light leak in your bulk loader?
Yep.
You got a bad master roll?
Yep.
You got bad cassettes? Are they okay?
All suck.
Yeah. I got 5 rolls. Some have it, some don't. It's not my camera.
Exactly.
So the first thing we do is we ask you to send us an image, cell phone shot, of the strip of negatives. And I can usually tell from that strip of negatives whether it's a camera light leak, a darkroom problem, or light piping. And many times it's light piping, aka edge fog or edge flare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need to talk about your flare.
Really? What is it? Well, it's unwanted light exposure along the edge of a strip of film. It's most common at the beginning, but if you bulk load your film yourself, it's possible it could be at the end of the roll. You'll notice sprocket hole shapes repeated along the edge of the roll, and then they'll gradually let up and go away. As well as fogging and some pretty black exposure. Anytime, number one, a loading tail is left out on a cassette cassette loaded with film, there's the potential to get exposure through there. This is especially true of some of our thin-based polyester films, and it's not necessarily because they're thin, it's because they're made of polyester, or Mylar, which is a brand name of polyester. Because polyester acts like fiber optics. It transports unfocused light and just spreads it on. So that's why we have backings, anti-halation backing, and also dyes in our film itself is to keep this from bouncing around and happening. That dense gray base that you see, that's the job it's doing, keeping it from bouncing back. Light piping factors, as I say it, that increase the chances of seeing this are the base density. If it is a thinner film, it is probably made of polyester, and as I mentioned, that is just a transporter of light, fiber optics, and it's cumulative. Cumulative. It transports a little bit of light, and it just keeps grabbing that tiny bit of light, and it just keeps transporting that tiny bit of light, and it just keeps going. And I also said emulsion type, and that's not necessarily, silver's your light receiver, but it doesn't send it on or transmit it on. There are different kind of anti-halation backings. Some films do not have any anti-halation backing at all. One notable one from years ago was Kodak HIE, or high-speed infrared. And if you would read the box, on the outside the box, it would say handle, load, unload in total darkness. Amazing. Not in shade, but in total darkness.
Yep.
And if you would actually look at that tail that you snipped off in the dark when you turn the lights on, It was like light green and glowy, had a little bit of a transparency to it. So you'll notice that some of our FPP films, our specialty films, in their original life, were not made to be cut up and put into cassettes and used in small strips. They would have been exposed at the beginning of the roll as it was threaded into some type of a machine. Those films can even be rather transparent. One of our new Derev films, my favorite, which is the Jaeger.
Derev 400.
Derev 400. Almost transparent. And as I have it out, it'll get darker.
When you say it's almost transparent, what do you mean?
I mean, I can see through it.
You see?
Now, this has been out a little bit, so it's starting to collect light, but
Translucent.
check it out.
What do you think of this stock?
Look, paper thin.
Wafer thin.
It's only a wafer thin.
Polyester is very strong, number one. It was probably made to move through a camera quickly. It won't tear. It was made to be used in bulk, so that keeps the film lighter weight. Like I said, it wasn't meant to be cut up in small pieces. It was meant to be used on more from a master roll point
this
of
is
view.
light pipe city?
That's Light Pipe City.
For real? Like, let's say you have a cartridge out sitting.
Hold on.
Okay.
I got it. Also, I have a tendency, because I buy some of this film, this Schwema 200 is a thin one that light pipes. These were not made to go into 35mm cameras as we know them. So they don't have those backings on them. So you have to be careful. And sometimes when I load these rolls, I've got a specific little job or something, and I might roll a 10 exposure roll. It's not making it very tight inside of that cassette. I did a test. I took my beloved and expensive, you guys are worth it, Schwema 200, and I loaded 3 cassettes. I loaded them in my home at night with one room light on, all from the same bulk loader into the same 3 previously used cassettes, and then I put one into total darkness for 10 days. Black can, black lid, total darkness, 10 days. I put one into a translucent outer can.
Oh, interesting.
And I left it either between my living room or my bedroom. It didn't matter. I don't have windows open during the day in there, so at night it's usually either the television or one lamp lit for sometimes hours, sometimes not. So it had some exposure, but it had it for 10 days. The third one, God bless its little soul, I never put into a plastic can at all. And I just took it everywhere. It went to lunch with me. And it would fly around in my purse. It'd go around in my camera bag. I'd throw it on the seat on the car. The results then, I waited about 10 days, processed them all. 2 in the tank at one time, and 1 followed. Everything between the 3 was absolutely as consistent as possible. The black can, clean. The tail where it was attached, clean. There is no light piping on that.
Nothing.
You've got the other tail, though, that was sticking out of the cassette so that I could use it. Nothing. The one that had minimal exposure, very, very, very light exposure, for 10 days, with the tail out, has got a significant amount of fog at the beginning, and it has those repeated edge marks.
Oh.
But now at the end, where I loaded it in, there's the part that was out that I attached, put the lid shut. You can see, though, it went quite a way, and it's not a...
This where the piping is, this is closest to the entrance where the
This would have been
tongue.
the entrance right here. The tongue is right here.
Oh, that's
and the
interesting.
rest of that piped back.
And this was in a clear canister.
Yeah, transparent.
The translucent one, the milky. We'll call
the milky
it
one. Mm-hmm.
And how was this? Where was it exposed?
It was either in my living room or my bedroom, which I have no open windows during the day. My windows are all closed. They always are.
Just ambient light.
Extremely low ambient light.
Remarkable.
And then the one that rode around with me.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
No can.
No can. Lunch, car, purse, camera bag.
I saw it all.
It is like saw it all on its own.
I am
and the thing is, this one where there was minimal, you think the light traps on my camera are just fine, but if the light traps or the light seals in your camera are even weak and a little bit's getting in, that other films will not even see at all. But you set that camera down and maybe not shoot it for a couple days or a week or 2 or 3. Maybe it's just sitting in your house.
How would it pipe into a camera?
Through the door.
through like a little crack in the door.
Sure, but if your seals are weak, it's going to get through, and you don't move the film, it's going to build up and build up because it's cumulative. A lot of times you get 5 rolls of film and you put one in, and the others just might sit on a shelf.
This is quite a report, Leslie.
It's eye opening.
That third one, I would have no idea.
It's just
I currently have like 30 rolls of film laying on my kitchen counter.
I always have a handful of them on my desk, because typically we don't have to worry about it because a traditional like a Tri-X or an Ilford or anything has those backings on it and those dies so that this doesn't happen. But these films were not made to be cut and handled this way.
I'm shocked.
They're beautiful films, and we should be shooting them, but we have to be a little bit more protective of them once we get them.
So black canisters would be the big thing.
Or just keep them from light, in a bag, in your camera bag.
Interesting.
It's pretty easy to happen, but I tell you, you guys know how I love that Schwema 200 film.
Oh, yes.
And personally, I think it's more than worth it to take care of it. If you bulk load this stuff yourself, maybe it might be best not to bulk load the whole thing up. Bulk load as you need it, so it doesn't stick around, float around. But that's light piping, and it'll drive you nuts. It can make you mad. And another point I wanted to make is when you do buy these films from FPP, don't be stingy when you load them. Don't be afraid that you think you have to start right at number 1 to get 24 exposures. Mike gives you extra exposures. So you go in a frame or 2 and start on 2 or 3 or whatever. You're going to get your full 24 frames. And that's put it in your pipe and smoke it or vape it or whatever you happen to do today.
Thank you, Leslie.
Taping. You're welcome.
So I should be putting a notice on the FPP site for all the thin-based films.
You should be selling black canisters.
Or just send a link to the piping. This bit.
Yeah.
Can
I scan these and can we convert this into a blog? I think this is an important blog.
That's a good blog.
Absolutely. You can scan them and I'll send you the text. It can at times obviously happen very easily. I can be very sloppy about my film. Take it out and let it ride in the car with me.
Yeah, you don't think about these things.
You don't think about them because we typically haven't had to. But like I said, for me, it's quite worth thinking about. And
when something like this happens, I just assume I screwed up the developing or my camera has a leak or something. It doesn't occur to me that.
So
that's just the way it goes.
So is this based off of a letter we received? And what was the conclusion of that letter? It's sort of like there's no actual wrong. The wrongdoing could have happened in so many different possible scenarios.
Absolutely.
It's impossible to say, well, I can tell you where it didn't happen.
And that's how sometimes we do, and sometimes that's what all we have is we can tell you where it didn't happen.
Well, first of all, to be fair, not to us, but every letter we get, the blame gets pointed at that we have a light leak, like in our bulk loader in our darkroom, and I can tell you right now, no,
we would have found out.
I'd find it's a whole batch. I know
it's a whole batch.
Yeah.
Those letters and cards and letters would have been coming in like crazy,
like Santa Claus letters.
Yeah.
So I can just see someone having their film sitting out there outside their camera bag or wherever, and just sitting there and doing a little light piping, just not realizing that that's what's happening.
Yep.
Especially students, they're like, "Oh, this is subdued light," and the sun's just like right there.
No, and I've seen the effects of not loading your film in darkness for like the HIE and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course the color IR is the same thing. And I've seen there where I've had light piping go in along the rebate areas.
And Mike asked where this come from, and we've had a couple people come in and say, here's my problem. And I can actually, if they lay out a couple frames of film, I can print it out, cut them out, roll them up, and you can see right where one sprocket hole let light through onto the other, line them up, and I can almost tell you that this happened because you left the can out, or this happened because it was wound. It happened in your camera and you've got a weak seal in there because they know how tight it was rolled together. Yeah, kind of interesting, but...
I feel like I have a Professor Jeff saying for everything, but for this one...
Yes.
His piece of wisdom for it, because he always talked about when he would F up sheets when he was working for his professor.
Oh, yeah, in Kentucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you can see shape, so in the dark, if you can see shape, that film can see that light.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as I noted, this is so cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
It just gets that dang light and just keeps grabbing for it. So you think a little's okay, but it just keeps at it. So something to watch out for.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Next up, Matt Marrash is going to talk about the Leica MiniLux.
This little guy.
A poor man's context? Question mark?
Question mark? Yeah. Well, point and shoots, because of social media, especially the Instagram effect and celebrities and all that stuff, getting into film cameras are cool now. We have what's called the Contax effect. The Contax T2, T3, those poor cameras, they used to be just high-end point and shoots that photographers knew about. And then I don't know who was it a singer? Who did it first? Was it a singer first or a Kardashian first? It doesn't matter. The Contax cameras are now an obscene price for.
Yeah, what's her name? Kylie Jenner.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
The young one.
Yeah, I don't even have the Instagrams. I'm so old.
The young one.
The young one.
But one of them had it, and now everybody has it or wants to have it. The Contax, they're great. I will not fight that. They're Zeiss lenses. They're compact. They're fixed lens. They do some cool stuff. But I think one that hasn't. It's kind of stayed pretty steady despite this kind of so like last show. Leslie talked about that Yashica T4 that has also seen a little bit of the Contax bump from that. But a lot of high-end compacts, you just can't pick up a good, really nice coated, fast, compact autofocus 35 for under like $1,000 anymore. One that has scooted a little bit under the radar is this Leica MiniLux. Now, Leslie a few shows ago had talked about the MiniLux Zoom, and that one's great. That one's far easier to get and at a little bit less price. But they also made a Japanese-made MiniLux with the fixed lens. So this has a Sumerit 40mm f2.4. This camera, just like all the other Contax-type cameras, this is a best of the 90s camera. So this is from 95. Really nice fast lens. It's not tack sharp corner to corner like you're going to get out of the Contax that have the 2.8 Zeiss glass. This is 2.4, so it's a smidge faster. I haven't really noticed the difference for that. It's pretty decently hand-holdable with 400 speed film in it, but it is kind of soft at the edges. It's a little bit, has some vignette at the edges to it. But it has a really nice signature look. Focus is pretty close, down to less than a foot. DX coated. This will do 50 to 3200, which is pretty great. Max shutter speed is not as good as the Yashicas and the Contax, so I believe it's 1 second to 1/500. Let me just I have my sheet pulled up here. So far, I've shot it with some Kodak Portra and some of the FPP. 200 and 400 black and white emulsions. I've really been liking those lately. And why is my computer frozen?
We have Windows what on there? 10?
10.
Okay. Who's here using XP?
Yeah.
Bueller, XP?
No.
Bueller?
I wish I still could at my store. I have 7 at my store.
Okay.
Mac.
Oh, hold on to that 7 for as long as possible. It's that classic champagne.
But is this hot or not?
It's always, Leica's always a certain level of hot, but in the Leica camp,
sometimes it's mental hot.
The Leica folks don't like it as much because it's one of the Japanese. It's not the true Leica. So this is kind of the start of that era where Leica started just throwing their name around onto things.
Was this a partnership with Panasonic?
I think this is before they started regularly partnering with them.
I think this MiniLux Zoom is rumored to be. But
I know it's Japanese made for sure, so it has a lot of the trimmings of some of the Contax. It's larger than some of the other point and shoots, so it's not made to be smaller. It's actually bigger than that Nikon 28 Ti that we've had on and off over the years. But I find this one to be a little more usable, except it's just this 3-button functionality. There's a and that 3-button functionality. So if you want to do exposure comp, you have to press and hold EV for like 3 seconds, and then you got to toggle through the stuff. But the fact that it's there is cool. It's program or aperture priority, so you can do full auto, full program. You can force manual focus. And then I use it as an aperture priority camera. I'm pretty much always AV on it. But it's pretty neat. I'm not going to make the final judgment on it because I haven't developed the black and whites with it. The color so far has been just pretty standard color, not too contrasty, not too flat. But I like it for. I've always liked 35 point and shoots. Leslie,
You thought that you mentioned you thought maybe the edges were just a little soft.
well, that's actually not my words. That's Ken Rockwell's words. I know.
Because that's the first thing that I noticed about that Yashica T4 was my edge sharpness, and I didn't even care that it was a gray day in Ohio. That edge sharpness blew me away. So I thought that was an interesting statement from you.
This one has a little bit more of a fall off. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Specs on 7-bladed aperture, so it's got some bokeh to it, which is kind of cool. Oh, the close focus is 0.7 meters, not 0.7 feet. So it is a not so good close focus.
So one thing, I'm holding this camera right now, and one thing I don't like where the shutter button is. I feel like you have to move your finger over way too far.
So the shutter placement is pushed to the middle, and that viewfinder is so centered. I get that it's over the lens, but it's very, it's
and of course I'm left-eyed, so my nose is right.
it's a schmutz
You're left-eyed?
machine.
Yeah, I have to. I always have been, but I'm glad.
Wow.
Right
How about that?
So max shutter speeds on this, it goes from 1 second. It does have a bulb mode, which can get up to 100 seconds. But it goes to a only a max of a 400th of a second. So I think the contacts and Yashica have it beat out in that.
What did you say that minimum focus again was?
2.3 feet, so 0.7 meters.
2.3 feet. Okay.
Yeah,
Is this empty?
empty right now.
Oh, why?
Okay.
I just shot some
24,
through it.
almost 30.
ISO 25 to ISO 5000. But it's pretty nice. It has a few flash options, so it has like a red eye reduction flash. It has a second curtain or a slow curtain shutter.
Yep.
On there for flash. It's pretty nice. For somebody that doesn't want to pay contacts prices, these are ballparking. Low end, you can get a beater from a Japanese eBayer for under $500. You can get a really nice one for $800-900. So something with that nice red sticker on it for less than $1,000. That's pretty cool, and it looks and feels similar to the contacts. So for now, we'll call it the poor man's contacts.
There you go. Fun.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm glad you got to use that and bring it in. Now I don't have to hunt it down and finish up my trilogy of those 3-point and shoot Leicas I was
because of
the
inevitable delay between when I talk about things and when they show up. I don't think this is available at Midwest Photo anymore.
Gotcha.
Probably because of me.
Thank you, Matt. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Fred McMurdo Tech Press Camera.
Fred McMurray.
Walt Disney Home Movies in Super 8mm. Yours to run over and over again in your own living room. Here are a few. Animated classics. The wildly funny match of the century from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. With all the high quality of the original motion picture. All the fine entertainment that you've enjoyed in the theater. The one and only Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Walt Disney Home Movies in Super 8 are available in color or black and white, in silent or magnetic sound versions. Check the catalog for a great selection of titles. Then thread up. Walt Disney Home Movies. New fun for the entire family together.
Hey, we're back. So, was this used on the set of My Three Sons? What's the story with this camera?
It's the McMurdo.
Oh.
Let me get it out of it.
It's a McMurdo mystery.
How did this come your way? Oh.
I found it advertised on a Facebook group.
Get out. And you saw it, and
Someone posted a bunch old cameras for sale.
Yes.
And she had no idea what they were, cameras and equipment and stuff. And I messaged her and I said, I'm interested. She said, oh, well, you know, this is like a typical, Les, you'll know right where this has come from, and Matt. Somebody looked at these a year or so ago and they said they were worth $1,500. And I'm like, I don't see anything there worth anywhere near $1,500.
You told her that?
He would give me $1,500. I'm like, all right.
Call him up.
Have a nice day.
That's right.
Yep,
You got his number?
So then she, like literally 6 months later, last time I was here recording with John a couple weeks ago, as we were sitting here recording, I got a message from her on Facebook 6 months later saying, are you still interested in these cameras? I still have them. And I said, well, I'm interested, but I'm interested for like a couple hundred.
Not 15 interested.
I don't even know what you've got there, but I don't, you know. So she said, "Well, come by and take a look." So I stopped. She was in Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
Oh, get out!
She was like 8 minutes from here. So after I left you guys, I drove over to her house and we went through all these boxes that she had.
Did she have any home movies?
I didn't ask.
In the future, can you ask? Okay, thanks, Mark.
Seems weird.
All right.
She had this camera. She had a baby press camera. If you know.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
2¼ by 3¼
Yeah.
You took the old pack, the film packs. Nobody makes anymore. They're useless.
Does
They
it have a
go on the
rollback?
shelf. I personally own a rollback for it.
Okay.
So I can shoot.
So it was
one
worth it.
But otherwise, and then I got some lighting and some other this and that. But this was the gem of the collection.
Gem.
So what I have here is a McMurdo 4x5 view camera. But when you go to look up, if you Google McMurdo cameras, there's no such thing.
Wow.
If you go to the McEwens, there's no such thing.
That's a good sign.
So, yeah, first of all, I'm like, ooh, good, rubbing my hands together.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I got something rare. I then finally figured out that what this actually is an MPP, which is a pretty highly regarded British camera manufacturer.
Really rock solid precision large format cameras.
Really good. So, I mean, I've got a Crown Graphic. As far as the precision of the gearing, everything feels so tight on it. It makes my Crown Graphic look like a frown graphic.
Time to wake this show up.
Yeah, just the precision of it is just, it feels really, really good to use. I read a couple of like forum posts here and there over the years where people were using the word Lindhoff in the same paragraph as MPP. You know, they're pretty highly regarded. It's not a cheap camera. They're very, very uncommon in the U.S. So if you check eBay, there are none on the American eBay. There's none around anywhere. They do sell. So what it is it's called the MPP technical camera.
Where does this woman get it from?
It was her grandfather's.
Oh.
And I later found out that he had come from Toronto, so he moved down from Canada, which would sort of explain how it got
The British connection.
Britain.
Yeah.
Right. So you can sort of trace it that way. But yeah, these are going for $500-600 on eBay. You know, again, depending on what lens you've got on it, as always. But they're pretty good camera. So I'm now going to turn the floor over to Matt.
All right, let me tell you what I like about this camera.
So Matt is the expert on this stuff. So I know that it's got lots of knobs and a lot of pieces move, but I don't know anything more about it. So hey, Matt, what the heck is this
It's
thing?
got bits and bobs and nicks and knobs. This is. At first glance, I was like, "This is an alien camera." It has the best bits of a Graflex. So it has like this really neat little flip-up sports finder. It has the Graflex viewfinder masks, which no, you cannot get anymore at Midwest Photo. Stop emailing me about it. No, there's an old Photo.net forum post that says we have them. It's got a cold shoe. It has
a couple cold shoes.
Yeah, it's got the retractable rail. It has a drop-down bed. So it's like all the best bits of a Linhof Technica 3 with a few innovations stolen from Graflex, and they're just kind of molded together. The rear standards, so where the spring back is, it has a really nice smooth rotation. That's Linhof style. It's a little bit slimmer than a Linhof one. It does have the 4 pins in the back that pull out and give you a little extra bellows extension and rear movements, which is cool. The front movements are sweet. I think the movements on this are smoother than the Super Technicas, which were much more expensive cameras. The only thing I don't like about this camera is that it uses the old pointy Linhof boards. So Linhof Technica cameras prior to the Linhof Technica 3 used pointy squared lens boards. So that means nobody else is competing for them. They're actually easier to get than Graflex boards. So you won the lottery there, but the boards kind of suck. Like they don't go on anything else. So whatever you have on here just kind of stays on here. The bed itself goes as far as some of the Linhof Technica cameras. So this thing has almost as much bellows as my 8x10 camera, which is just a ton of bellows. It's great. Another weird thing about this camera, because it's very Linhof Technica style, and I was talking to pre-show, I was telling Mark about this, the bellows are kind of a nightmare to change on these. It does have a Linhof style bellows, but that allows it, coupled with this bed, this might be the widest angle press style camera I've ever seen. So you can put just about as wide a lens as you can fit on there. You won't have any movements because it's an accordion bellows. It's not a bag bellows, but this is sweet. I mean, you're basically getting all the best bits of a Linhof for a third the price.
Yeah. Well,
you cleaned up.
I love it.
Sweet.
It's beautiful. I love it feels solid.
What did you pay for it?
Well, I got this. I got the baby press. I got a bunch of lights, all kinds of stuff. I think I paid about $200 for all of it.
Okay.
So I would say I paid about $150 for this one.
No, this is great.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And it came in this beautiful case with about 10 holders and rangefinders and all kinds of stuff.
You'll pay double that if you nick the bellows.
So it has a working rangefinder?
No, this one, mine had a rangefinder on it.
Right.
That has been
taken off,
removed, and replaced with a cold shoe.
I'm guessing that's the cause of all the corrosion that was like hanging out in there. Was that from the rangefinder or a cell in there? There's a lot of blue.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed.
And how's the lens on that camera?
The lens is pretty good. It's got a nice single-coated ray packs. That's just a solid. That's a pretty long lens usually for this type of camera. So like your Crown, Mike.
Yeah.
You know how that can't really focus super close. This one has the bellows that we could do macro focus. So if we rack this all the way out, I can actually get a super close up, just the edge of Mark's face and like the microphone, and fill the frame with that. So this can do. The bellows can allow it to do some macro work. You probably could even put a straight 400, so not even a telephoto style lens on there. It has tons and tons of bellows.
Bellows.
Mark, why don't you leave it here, and then tomorrow
it'll disappear.
No, we'll put on bring in some sticks tomorrow, and I'll load up some sheets. Why don't we just
making a joke.
shoot?
I would love to. Yeah.
Shoot close up Matt Marrash. Close up Mike Raso.
Speaking of
close up yourself.
Speaking of sticks, they also
it's got 3 tripod mounts.
It's got 3 mounts.
Why is that?
So this is actually better than a Linhof for having that.
Suck on that, Linhof.
It has a reinforced hole right here. That's a steel plate, not just part of the bed. Because on the Linhof ones, if you push it in too far, you can go through the bed. It's not flush, so you're either here or these two. But this makes it super nice for when you extend the bellows out. You have like an arca plate. You can balance it on the tripod. This is really important if you're using something like a ball head with your tripod. No, this is just a sweet camera. Everything on it feels awesome, and all the things that are normally super that make the Linhofs really attractive, like that little Linhof seal and like paper thin bellows and stuff. It doesn't have that, so this is probably going to last longer and do just as well for somebody that doesn't want the Linhof prestige. But McMurdo, it needs to have like it needs to have an eye patch. I feel like McMurdo, it needs an eye patch on it. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Beautiful.
It really is.
Matt and my review of the McMurdo MP technical camera.
No, it does not look like it was used much, does it?
This is my preliminary review of it. So now that I'm learning about it, I'm going to go shoot it some more. I posted a thing on the Flickr MPP users group, and someone trying to get some information, and someone actually linked to me an information page, but even the information page is on the Wayback Machine because the page doesn't even exist
Wayback
anymore.
Machine, yep.
And it has information about all the various models. The one sort of interesting thing about this, as the show's been going on, I was doing some more research, and I have a super low serial number on this, and I think actually what I've got, I think this is a Mark I. I think this is the original one, which apparently is pretty uncommon because they say serial numbers start at 1001 and continue to 2260.
What year do you think your camera is?
1949.
Okay.
It says blah blah blah. It's a scarce model today and seldom seen. It was probably made at serial numbers below about 1200, and mine is serial number 1146. Mm-hmm. And that may also explain why mine is branded McMurdo and not MPP. It might be such an early model they hadn't quite nailed down how they were going to brand it yet.
Right.
So that's why mine may say McMurdo. So it's a bit of a mystery, but yeah, I can't wait to use it. So is there any reason why I would use my Crown Graphic over this?
No, I would actually say
throw the Crown Graphic in a
river.
No,
throw it out. But
rangefinder Crown Graphic.
Oh, that's true. I do have my laser rangefinder on the Crown.
Yeah, but this is this could probably survive nuclear blast. It's all the parts that need to be on here are rock solid. The bellows are actually nicer than the regular Linhof bellows. No, this is sweet.
Yeah. Cool.
Terrific.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
I want to thank everyone for joining us on this filmtastic exploration of enthusiasm. You can write to us at podcast@filmphotographyproject.com, Instagram, Facebook, our own site, filmphotographyproject.com. If you go there, you can your gateway to just about everything. Film Photography, the FPP online store. And we'll be back in 2 short weeks.
Send us your zines.
Oh, yeah. Thinking about doing a zine? Shoot us an email. Send us your zines. Send us some treats.
That's right.
We accept cookies, pastries, candy, chippy type things.
Wide-angle lenses for our Leica M2s.
Wide-angle lenses. Gummy bears. We'll see you super soon. And if you could see as we're closing the show, both Matt and Mark D are just like
buzzing. They're buzzing over that camera.
Buzzing over that camera.
Wow.
They're like drooling on the camera.
I accidentally slightly broke it, but it's fixed.
Oh, okay.
It's fixed now.
Good.
That's every Linhof ever.
Yeah.
See that girl, watch her buzz, mind that sting, it's dangerous. Round and round she will go, honey sweet, the boys all know. Be tell me why you fly so high. Tell me why you fly so high. Make me yours alone. Yours